Hey everybody, First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. Quick update on Tropical Storm Michael. Now that it has a name, we can talk about it. And a little subtle change from this morning. If you watched my vlog, the center of circulation was forming closer to the Yucatan Peninsula and Belize coast. It's reformed further east, which is actually a little better news for the Carolinas, not so good news for Florida. You can see the updated forecast track shows the circulation is formed here. Remember, this morning it was over here. So basically what happened was the big thunderstorms on the east side pulled or tugged the low-level center closer to the east. And that eastern movement is actually going to cause the overall track to be much further to the east. I'll widen this out just to kind of show the overall track off to the northeast. And let me show you on a little better view here, because what I did here is I'm showing you the track as well as the probability of seeing tropical storm force winds. So you can see the track up to the north. It will become a hurricane, likely a Category 2 hurricane right before landfall sometime on Wednesday into early Thursday. Now, the concern for Florida is, yes, it's certainly a bigger impact for Florida, but because of the shape of the coast, and you may have seen me talk about this earlier, I posted an image, but the problem is this Big Bend area, which is here in Florida, is very susceptible to storm surge. It's like a funnel, so the water gets pushed in here. It all gets shoved up into these inland areas like bays and little inlets to rivers and creeks and streams. So this part of Florida is very susceptible to storm surge, even with a very weak storm. Now, for the Carolinas, because of this further east track, this actually puts South Carolina more kind of in a threat for some strong winds and some rain. It's still moving fast, so we're not looking at a huge rain threat. The movement from here, from Thursday all the way here to Friday, so it's flying up to the northeast with the intermediate position there. So it's moving, and the overall threat for strong winds across the Carolinas has actually gone down a little bit, except for coastal sections. Now, I actually think that this could shift further east even more. Now, remember what the cone means. It could be here or it could be here. I think the probability of it shifting to the east is actually pretty likely. And when I start looking at some of the guidance, which I'm going to show you here in a second, I actually think the probability of it shifting to the east is probably increasing just a little bit. Let me show you that guidance. So here's a look at that guidance. Now, this was this morning's guidance. Now, remember, the models this morning thought the circulation was way over here. You can actually see where the track is shifted. This morning, the center was here, but it reformed over here. So this is this morning's model runs. And look where they are. But then I'm going to flip them off, and I'm going to show you the afternoon runs real quickly just to show you the difference. Okay, we're going to go back and forth. This is the new ones. Look at all the tracks now off to the southeast and to the east, and we'll go back and forth. That was this morning. That was this morning. I'll turn those off. This is with this afternoon. You can see there's been a genuine shift off to the east. So I think this track to the east, Florida is more in play, and maybe out in here, Western Carolinas may be a little bit better news for us overall. A quick look at the close invisible image shows you can see the circulation has certainly reformed over in here. It was over here earlier this morning, but it shifted off to the east. So the overall impacts on the Carolinas, remember, as this heads up here, because we're primarily the western part of the state is going to be on the west side. The worst weather is going to be along the coast and down here. And because it's moving, this probably means lower rain chances back here, but we've got a cold front sweeping in as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But overall, a track further to the east or southeast is actually better for the Carolinas. And the speed is still, I mean, this thing should be howling. So this is basically Wednesday at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll be up here Thursday at 2 o'clock, somewhere near Florence, South Carolina, and then way up here by basically 2 p.m. on Friday. So it is going to be moving. In 24 hours, it's going to go from here to here. That is a fast-moving system and will be long gone. So we'll keep an eye on it. I'll be tracking it throughout the next couple of days. All interest in Florida, the Panhandle, and west coast of Florida need to be ready for a Category 2 hurricane. Storm surge would be a big, big issue, and strong winds, combination of the fast movement and a rapidly intensifying storm over what is really warm waters here in the Western Gulf could be an issue, especially for Florida. And because it's moving basically in tandem with that southwest shear, if it was moving this way, that shear would rip it apart, but because it's moving with it, that means the right side is going to be very, very strong winds. So just a heads up for the folks down in Florida, but better news for the Carolinas. Of course, stay weather aware over the next couple of days. The time frame for this is really Thursday for the Carolinas and then moving out quickly, and should be a cold, cold weekend compared to what we've seen the last 24 hours. Have a great Sunday night, everybody.